If I told you the actual number of games that will be at Gamescom this year, you probably wouldn't believe me. So I'm just going to throw them all together in one big video, starting with the ones that gamers in Cologne will actually be able to play on the Xbox booth. But by the end of the video, have a little think and tell me which one of these that you're most interested in knowing more about, and then maybe we'll make a big video just on that one game so you can get all the info about those titles once we're back from Cologne. Okay, let's get into it. Creatures of Avowed just dropped onto Game Pass as a day one release, so grabbing a membership is probably a more cost-effective way to play it than hopping on a plane to Cologne, but choice is yours, really. Either way, you're going to get to check out a really unique creature-saving adventure that stars all sorts of cool creatures. You get to soothe their spirits with your trusty flute, and then use their unique abilities to help you learn more about the world of Ava. We've actually played some here already, and honestly, it's a really soothing ride, so go check it out now. On a similar note, it's quite an exciting time to be a Valorant player, with the game having just surprise dropped onto Xbox Series X and S. If you haven't checked out its fast-paced brand of 5v5 shootouts just yet, you can do so at Gamescom. And if you like what you see, remember that Game Pass members also get access to the game's full roster of characters, plus a tasty XP bonus. Very useful for your Battle Pass. Also arriving just in time for Gamescom, Dustborn is a punk rock post-apocalyptic adventure that's just that fresh new sound we've been looking for. You get to use the power of language itself to make friends, influence people, and defeat your enemies. In this unique action-adventure game, it just might leave you at a loss for words. The game will have been out for just a few days by the time Gamescom comes along, so it's well worth a little try before you buy. Here's one that's going to be pure mana from heaven for action RPG fans, Visions of Mana. It's the latest entry in the beloved Mana series, and first time it's hit an Xbox, by the way, and it promises a vibrant new semi-open world for players to explore, and loads of adorable yet ferocious monsters for them to battle using the game's exciting, elementally charged combat system. If you can't make it to Gamescom to check it out, then don't worry, because Visions of Mana is coming out on August 29th, so the wait is almost over for you too. Plus, there is actually a demo that's now available that I did check out over on Twitch a couple of days ago, and it's well worth your time. Very fun, very beautiful. Check it out. On August 30th, Star Wars Outlaws will be whisking us back to that galaxy far, far away. Playing as one of those spacey scoundrels that Star Wars specializes in, this third-person actioner will give players the chance to explore a variety of planets, tear around on speeder bikes, and of course, blast their enemies into tiny little pieces. But only if they shoot first, of course. We have already done a massive preview that you can check out on the link up in the top right, by the way, but there's much more to come over at Gamescom with hands-on available for you guys that are going as well. Being a member of the Parcel Corps might not be the highest paying job, or the most secure one, or the most glamorous, or come with any employee benefits, but it does give you the opportunity to do some pretty sick bike tricks as you speed around the city, just doing whatever it takes to make your deliveries on time. And you won't have to wait too long on this delivery either, with Parcel Corps set to arrive on September 3rd, but at Gamescom you can actually get hands-on for yourself a little bit earlier than everyone else. But if Bike Messenger doesn't quite sound like the gig for you, how about becoming a long-haul truck driver? And I do mean very long haul. Arriving on September 3rd, Star Trucker lets you deliver cargo all across the cosmos. Each job you take on earns you the cash to upgrade your rig and prepare for even more lucrative journeys, and the space trucking community is just filled with one-of-a-kind characters for you to meet. So, you know, make like Marge Simpson and keep on trucking, especially since you can play it at Gamescom. I'm definitely checking it out. A brand new Age of Mythology is almost upon us, with a beautiful remaster coming straight to Game Pass on September 4th. And like the Age of Empire games, this is a real-time strategy affair where players try to lead their civilization of choice to victory. But unlike the Age of Empire games, they can deploy Krakens, Minotaurs, and Pegasuses. Pegasi? I don't know, to help them achieve their goals. It's a new take on the classics, and that whole world will be in your hands at Gamescom 2024. I know a lot of you guys love Funko Pops out there, and on September 13th, players will get to break open their boxes on a whole bunch of the most iconic Funkos for a brand new co-op adventure called Funko Fusion, with characters from Jaws, Shaun of the Dead, The Umbrella Academy, Invincible, and well, it's Funko Pop, so just a whole mess of other stuff. Funko Fusion promises to have us all feeling like a kid in a toy store, and it will be on the Xbox booth for you to play for yourself. If Age of Mythology wasn't enough for you, then there's more strategical fun on the way for PC Game Pass members with Aura History Untold set for September 24th. Now, Aura is a turn-based grand strategy game that takes the genre's classic mechanics and adds in a few spicy touches of its own, like non-linear technology trees, simultaneous turn resolution, and cloud-backed synchronous multiplayer. If you're still following along, well, it's all good stuff, so give it a go on the Xbox booth. On November 12th, players will get a whole new farm to simulate in Farm Simulator 25. God, whoever named that series just really nailed it, huh? Farm Sim 25 promises new crops, new animals, new machines, and some spruced up visuals to tie the whole thing together. So whether you're looking to grow some rice paddies out in East Asia or just take advantage of all that sprawling space in North America, there's a whole world of farming fun at your fingertips. I mean, this series gets a whole load of love, especially at Gamescom, and it's for a very good reason, so make sure you check it out. Then Game Pass members will probably be making their much anticipated trip to the Exclusion Zone on November 20th with Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl. It's a first-person adventure set inside a dynamic and extremely dangerous world. Stalker 2 is basically a chilling horror game, a blistering FPS, and an immersive open-world experience all wrapped up in one, and it's a world that you can explore for yourself at the Xbox booth before its day one launch. I played a bit of it at last year's Gamescom and was already very impressed, so I'm very excited to see what they've updated the game with this year. Towerborn's another extremely sweet looking game that is Game Pass bound on day one. It's a side-scroller game that combines these team-based brawling styles of Castle Crashers with a ton of customization options and RPG elements, with the promise of regular updates to ensure that you and your buddies have always got some new beasties to slay. Having played a bit of it at Gamescom last year, Towerborn is one of the games that we are most looking forward to getting back into, and now you can too at our booth. God, you're going to be there a while, aren't you? The Little Nightmares games have already provided players with a lifetime's worth of scary images. I remember that teacher lady with the giant neck. Oh, God. But they are coming back, unfortunately, in 2025 to terrify us all over again. The third game in this chilling puzzle platformer series will take things to some frightening new locations, although it does at least let you tag in a co-op buddy this time around for moral support. Probably best to play this on the booth so that with all those people around it's a little less creepy. No guarantees though. This game might get a little bit weird, but just bear with me, okay? Because Date Everything is a sandbox game that's a bit like a Pixar movie with a slightly more romantic flavor. Armed with this pair of mysterious glasses that can turn all of the inanimate objects in your house into lively, lovable, and extremely dateable characters, Date Everything gives you the chance to do exactly what the title suggests. Deep down, I always knew the refrigerator was my soulmate, but I guess you can find out who yours is on the Xbox booth. Well, when it comes to Date Everything anyway. Don't get weird. Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 lets you and two of your closest friends defend the Imperium together against a relentless swarm of enemies, which sounds like a really good bonding opportunity to me. There are 6 unique classes to choose from, and this third-person actioner promises to be a bottomless buffet of space-based brutality. Get your big plate at the Xbox booth because this is also playable. Commandos Origins will take players back to boot camp to see how this elite team got so good, and they did basically invent the real-time tactics genre after all. Origins is going to let players take part in missions across the globe, performing everything from high-risk rescues to sneaky covert operations. And not only is it coming to the Xbox booth, it's also coming straight to Game Pass on day one. Some of you guys might have beta tested this one already, but Marvel Rivals is going to bring together iconic comic book characters and a few deeper cuts for some fast-paced 6v6 hero shooting action. As for the roster, it's absolutely banging. It contains X-Men, Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy. It mixes in some of the most famous heroes, the most infamous villains, and of course Jeff the Landshark. So there's really something for everyone. Now the beta may be closed, but you can give the game a go once again at Gamescom. Mecha Break is another game that you can play on the Xbox booth that puts it all right there in the title. You hop inside one of the game's extremely customizable mechs, then just get to breaking things. This is a multiplayer mech busting affair too, so you can hop into a squad of 3 or 6 and then take part in a 60-player battle royale. It's going to combine aerial combat with ground warfare, and it mixes in a whole lot of different weapon types. So honestly, Mecha Break just offers a full-blown robot war, and Robot Wars is sick. Planet Coaster 2 is taking players right into the Splash Zone for the second installment in this theme park building series. But this time around, well, you're still going to be building parks, but you'll be able to add all sorts of water park attractions to go with your gravity-defying rides and heart-stopping roller coasters. With the game's intuitive building system, you can build the theme park of your dreams piece by terrifying piece. If, like me, you loved playing as a horrible goose and feel like taking your life of crime to the very next level, Squirrel with a Gun is the game for you. In this sandbox game, you're going to play as a squirrel who's armed to his cute little buck teeth as you terrorize the neighborhood using a whole range of weapons to take down the evil agents that are on your big, bushy tail. I mean, frankly, the whole thing is kind of nuts. And at Gamescom, you can become that squirrel with that gun. Let's get really deep for a second. I mean, how well do you really know yourself? Because that's a key question in the mind-melting new puzzle game, The Altars. When you find yourself marooned on an extremely hostile planet, your only hope for survival is to create alternate versions of yourself and then try to convince them to work together. And each one represents a different life path that you could have taken, leading to some distinctly different personalities, not all of whom play nice together. I can't wait to play this one. Winterborough! Yes! It's probably a bit too early to definitively declare Winterborough the game of the year, or the coziest survival game of 2025, but I mean, come on, look at that little mouse in his little hat sitting by his little fireplace. I mean, how do you get cozier than that? Of course, Winterborough isn't all naps by the fire. You'll also need to brave the cold to gather supplies, make new friends, and gradually restore your hometown to its former glory. PC gamers have already got to grips with Void Train's interdimensional spin on the survival genre, and console players will get the chance to hop on board too pretty soon. As a crew member on an interdimensional express train, you get to craft weapons, fight off deadly monsters, and steadily upgrade your train. And you can even team up with other players to make sure that everything stays on track. Game Pass gamers, you're going to be going back to the future in the retro-futuristic action platformer Replaced. You're playing as an AI who's trapped inside of a human body, and you'll get to scrap your way through a brutally beautiful pixel art world. Fight for your life with the game's free-flowing combat system, and try to figure out what's really going on in this strange city. Don't expect the answers to be pretty though. You know the old saying, heavy is the head that wears the magical soul-stealing crown? Well, in Overthrown, that head and that crown both belong to you, so you're going to have to use your wits and your magical powers to build a beautiful kingdom for your subjects. Farm the land, fend off bandits, and keep an eye on that throne if you don't want to find someone else sitting in it. If you're looking for a damned good time, why don't you check out the old-school isometric actioner Kill Knight. It's a fast and furious game that takes place in the depths of an eldritch arena where demonic hordes are just tearing each other to pieces all day and night. And if you want to find yourself at the top of the pile, you'll need to master an arsenal of otherworldly weapons and obliterate everyone who crosses your path. Should be fun. One rodent game wasn't enough for me, because this year we're also getting Tales of Iron 2, Whiskers of Winter, into side-scrolling Souls-like populated by woodland creatures. But if that makes it sound all fuzzy and adorable, don't be fooled, because this game is just crawling with gnarly boss fights, meaty combat, and a medieval world that's all blood, mud, and bad intentions. And yeah, you might just be a humble rodent, but you'll need the heart of a lion to make it through this one. If you spend the night gobbling candy and playing Tetris before crashing into a sugar coma, your brain might cook up something a little bit like All You Need Is Help. It's a cuddly co-op puzzler that has players working together to find a way through each level. And the fuzzy, block-shaped creatures that you control come in various shapes, and while they can't move freely, they can rotate, so you'll have to put your blocky heads together to complete each stage. And then our foxy friend returns in Spirit of the North 2. The sequel to the acclaimed third-person adventure once again has the player exploring a breathtaking world full of ancient secrets and mysterious forces. You'll have to be pretty cunning to solve some of the puzzles that you encounter along the course of this adventure, although I guess foxes are kind of known for that, aren't they? Probably be alright then. If you've ever wondered what a British post-apocalyptic game might look like, well, it might look a little bit like Atomfall. This is a tactical survival action game that takes place in the north of England a few years after a devastating nuclear disaster. And to survive in what remains of Old Blighty, you'll have to scavenge, craft, barter, and brawl your way through the various cults and cliques that have taken over. We are super excited for this one and definitely are going to be playing it, and you can too on the Gamescom booth. I'd recommend the cricket bat. It's got a nice crunch to it when you hit someone. And then on top of these upcoming titles, Gamescom will also feature hands-on time with a few great games that we have new content on the way for. For example, Forza Horizon 5 has promised that its booth will be showing off an all-new mode that's inspired by the creations of their community, as well as a new in-game partnership, which should be plenty to get most people's motor running. The clever folks at Microsoft Flight Simulator have got plenty on their hands right now, with the next sim update expected to arrive next month, and also an entire new game, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, that's set to take off on November 19th. So if you are in Cologne, it will definitely be worth doing a flyby on their booth. Fans of the magical, massively multiplayer online game Elder Scrolls Online can get a taste of its latest update, Gold Road. It features a brand new scribing system to customize your skills with, a whole new zone to explore, and a dastardly Daedric cult to deal with. So there's plenty going on right now in ESO, but then there is always, isn't there? So if you do want to know more on ESO and how it's lasted so long, you could check out our video right up there from when we crashed the 10-year anniversary celebration. I do say crash, but we were invited, but it's still super interesting, so check out the video. Let's stick with the theme of Bethesda-built MMOs for a sec, because Fallout 76 also has a major new update on the way called Milepost Zero. Gamescom goers will be able to check out its new Caravan questline, setting up their own outposts and escorting precious cargo through the wasteland to make sure that it reaches its destination intact. Or as intact as anything in Fallout is, I suppose. On October 8th, Diablo 4 gets a daunting new expansion that you are sure to have a love-hate relationship with. Vessel of Hatred adds the new Spiritborn class into the mix, complete with all sorts of mystical jungle powers. Which is good because this new chapter in the Diablo story sees Mephisto up to his old tricks again, so you're gonna need all the help you can get. You'll be able to play the brand new expansion at Gamescom as well, so it's probably worth getting some practice in. Gamescom does already feel pretty festive, but you could always kick things up a notch by swinging by the Fortnite Festival section of the Xbox booth. The rhythm-based Fortnite game lets players take to the stage to jam along to their favourite songs. It's already seen the likes of Billie Eilish and Metallica take the stage, and with the game's 5th season due to kick off in August, now feels like a pretty good time to make sure that you're in tune. Oh, and before I forget, there's also going to be some exclusive theatre presentations of Avowed, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and Starfield Shattered Space. You'll probably catch me in that one a few times. Well done, you made it to the end. That's the lot. Which Gamescom title then are you most excited to hear more about? And again, don't forget to hit the comments to let us know, and we will bring you all that we can on every title that you want. Within reason. Probably squirrel with a gun. See you in Cologne. Bye!